Hi, and welcome to Google Developers Live. My name is Pong Ying, and with me today is the newest member of our team, Maru.
Hi, happy to be here.
So for this Google Developers Live, we'll be talking about wallet objects. And specifically, we'll be talking about how to get you up and started with our Quick Start samples. We have several Quick Start samples, and the one we're going to be focusing on today is Java. What the Quick Start does is it's designed to help you hit the ground running in your integration. And it showcases several things. One is authorizing access, and two is inserting a new wallet objects class. Three is using the saved wallet API to insert a wallet object. And then lastly, using the web service API to enable sign-up, instant sign-up, and linking from the Google Wallet app. You can find detailed instructions on setting this up in our documentation, which you'll see on the screen right now. And to walk you through these instructions, here's Maru.
Thank you, Pong. So as Pong mentioned, and you can see on my screen right now, we have the Java Quick Start documentation. And here we have detailed steps on how to get your credentials, download the project, configure it, and run it. What we'll do today is go through all of these steps and show you a demo on the phone and how this works. So to start, the first thing that we need to do is get our credentials. To do that, I recommend that you watch our previously recorded GDL. It's called Wallet Object API Account Setup. And this will show you how to create your account and how to get your credentials. And once you have that set up, all you need to do is just go into, first let me go here, get your issuer ID from your merchant dashboard. And also make sure that you have your service account created on the Google Cloud Console. So go to the Google Cloud Console, click on Registered Apps, then you can click on Service Account, and this is my service account test. And then this is my email address. So this, I'll need my email address, my merchant account ID, and also the private key that you downloaded when you created your credentials. So once you have those three things, we can go in, download the Quick Start. To do that, the Quick Start code is open source and you can find it in GitHub. To do that, go to github.com/Google Wallet and you can find it on the wallet objects-quickstart-java. So once you're here, you'll see that you have the option, of course, to either clone or download the code. We're going to clone it locally here to show you. So I'm going to open my terminal and just gonna do.
You also need Git installed, but
of course
there's
you
not
need
a
to
tutorial
have that. Or you can download. You can just download it, and that would be easier probably. Then just clone here, and this is gonna take a couple of seconds or more.
Oh man, the internet is a little bit slow today.
So while we wait for the clone, then the next step we need to make sure that you have Eclipse installed. So if you don't have it, then pause this and then go install and then come back. And once this is done, okay, this is done now. Yeah, that was quick.
You also need the Google plugin.
Yes, so let's go into our Eclipse now. So now that we have it downloaded, let me see where it is. I'm just gonna go into my directory. We have the code in here. We're gonna open Eclipse. And I'm just going to create a new workspace for today just to test, to make sure that I don't have anything there.
Workspace 4.
4. So now that we're here, what we need to do is first import the Quick Start into Eclipse. So as Pong mentioned, we also need to have the Google Eclipse plugin. So let's do that first. To first check if you already have it. Maybe you already used it for another project. Just go into Help, install new software, and then check here where it says what's already installed. And on my list I have it, Google plugin for Eclipse. But if you don't have it, then all you need to do is go into our documentation and it has the link for the site where it needs to be downloaded from. I already have it here. So it's dl.google.com/eclipse plugin 4.3, and this is of course related to the Eclipse version that I'm running. So for a different version, you will need to use a different URL. So once you click this, just click enter, and this will load a list of all of the plugins or tools that we have available on that site. For this project, you only need the Google plugin for Eclipse, right?
Yep.
So you just click on that and then click next.
We've actually included the App Engine dependencies, or a specific version of App Engine, within our GitHub project, which is why you don't also need to download a version of App Engine when you're installing this plugin.
Oh, that's great to know. So the only thing we need to worry about to make it easier for you guys is just to download this plugin. So we do that. In my case, because I have it, it says that I need to update it. So I click next and it will update it. For you guys, it will probably just say finish, and then you will install it. I'm not gonna update it right now to make sure that we don't spend too much time on that. So we have that, and now let's import the code. To do that, all we do is just click on File, Import, and then from here we're gonna select General, and then Existing Projects into Workspace. For our root directory, we're going to use the same directory where we cloned our code from GitHub, or where we downloaded it. So in my case, I have that under Development, Quick Starts, and then Wallet, Objects, Quick Start Java. So I'm just going to click on Open, and as you can see here, it has the project, and that's all what I need to do here. I don't need to check anything else. I just need to click on Finish. So now this is going to import the code. And once it's done, okay, so we're done here. What do we need to do next? So now what we want to do is configure the project with our credentials. To do that, we have two steps. The first step is to copy our private key into the where webinf directory. So let's do that here. I'm into the directory here, and I have my key on the directory above. So Bob's private key, and I'm gonna copy it into war webinf, right? Once I have it there, let me refresh here. So my key is there, so that's the first step. And the second is we're going to configure our credentials in the web.xml. So just double click the webinf web.xml file and click on source so we can edit it. Let me close out outline here. Just go away. And if you scroll down, you'll see that we have here 4 configuration parameters that we need to change. The first one is the service account ID. And this, as it says here, is your OAuth service account email. So let me go back to the browser to copy that. And this is my email. And I'm just going to have that here. My private key, in this case, I called my key Wobb's private key.
Very descriptive.
I tried to be descriptive. And then the issuer ID, I'm gonna also come and copy paste that from from the merchant dashboard. And I also need to enter my application name. So for the application name, don't worry, this doesn't need to match anything that you've already created before. This is used only for OAuth purposes. So when the user logs in, it says on the pop-up, you're logging in and you're giving permission to this application to use your information. So of course, this needs to be your application name, but it doesn't need to match anything that you've previously created. So in here, I'm gonna put Maru's test. And so that's it, pretty much. We're done.
Let's run it.
So fairly easy, right? So now what do we want to do? We want to run it. The next thing we do is we're going to click on the run, and then we're going to run this as a web application using our Google Eclipse plugin. Once we do that, let me open this so you can see it.
That's quick.
It was fast. And it's already running, and now you can see it's running on, localhost port 8888. That's not an easy one. So what we're going to do is open another window and run this here. So what you see now on my screen is the quick start code running. And like Pong says, we are offering 3 options or showing you 3 different functionality with the quick start. The first one would be to insert classes, which is what you're going to do with these 2 buttons. The second one is to insert the objects, and we're going to do that using the Save to Wallet buttons. And then the third one is the web service integration. That's going to let you test and work with the Google Wallet application. We'll show you that one afterwards, after we're done with this.
Typically, you wouldn't want to have a button to insert a class. Typically, you just do it on your back end. But because we're demonstrating how to issue that request, we have a button here to tell our server to take that action.
And that's good to know. So these buttons, you won't have those on your site. But they're good for testing and for debugging. So we're going to click in Insert Loyalty Class. And once we do that, let's look here. It's going to show me that the class already exists because we've already inserted it testing the quick start before. So that's good. If you keep clicking on it, it will just give you this error message, which is not an error. The class is unique, so we can only insert it once. And after that, once we insert the class, we can go ahead and use the Save to Wallet button and insert the object or the card, associate the card with my user. If I mouse over the button, you'll see that I'm signed in here as John Smith. If I wasn't logged in, it will tell me to log in. I would click on it and it will allow me to log in as a Google user with a Google account. So now I'm going to click on Save Card to Google.
And if you look at your wallet app, you can actually see the card inserted into this Google Wallet demo account. And then we can actually take a look at what the card contains. Right, so if we click into Bake and Restore Rewards, this is our demo merchant, of course, a demo loyalty card. You can see that we've created a barcode, that we've given this user points, that we have a tier for the user, and the additional information about the user associated with the account. And if you want to take a look at that, you can check out the loyalty vertical class, which will show you how we've defined all of that. And I think Mara will go through it as well.
And we can go through it in detail now. So, so now we have the class and the object, and let's look at some of the code then. So we go back into Eclipse, and I'm going to stop it just so we can look at the code. So the first thing we should look at is the index.html. So when we load the quick start, you'll see this is our index page. And what we have is, like we said, the buttons to insert the classes and also a Save to Wallet buttons. So we're going to see here in our code that we have those buttons here, and also we have the step 2 buttons for the Save to Wallet. We're also including the JavaScript here in this file. Let me open it so you can see it. What it's doing is that it's mapping, let's see here. So it's mapping the Save to Wallet buttons are being mapped to the JWT or the JOT handler, and what this is going to be doing is it's going to be generating the code that's going to render the button, and we'll show you in detail how this works. Also, we have the code here for the insert loyalty and insert offer buttons, and so they're also linked. When you click on them, they're going to be calling the insert handler here, or the insert servlet. So now let's see what those are doing. If we go back into our web XML, let's look for insert first. In here, we're mapping this path to the web insert servlet, which is here, and we're mapping the JWT or the JOT to web generate JOT servlet. So if we go now into the source, we have a package for our servlets, and then let's look first at the insert. So in here, what do we do? When you click on the button, the first thing that happens is that we're going to create an object with the credentials that you defined in your web XML. And then we're going to check which is the type which we're sending from in the URL from when you click on the button. So in our case, we're testing loyalty. So type is loyalty. So we check if the type is loyalty, we're generating a loyalty class. And once we do that, we are calling the API to insert that loyalty class. When we do this, first we use our loyalty object here, and let me look at it. And this is what Pong was referring to when you want to modify what we have in the quick start, all of the fields and parameters and the information that we're displaying in our loyalty class and object test. You come into the loyalty vertical, and these can be found under the verticals. Here, let me open it. The vertical package. And so let's look at the loyalty class. So in here you can see we're setting the header, we're setting the body, we're setting an image for Baconrista. We're putting some header details and some messages. So all of the information that you can set on a loyalty class, and you can find more details about this in our documentation if you go to the templates or our loyalty tutorial, you're able to do through our loyalty class. We use, if we go back here, when we're calling client loyalty class insert, we're calling our client library that it's making the API call to insert that loyalty class. And the same happens for all our other verticals. Once we do that, then that servlet inserted and then responds back to us. Anything you want to add here?
No.
Great. So then for the JOT servlet, it's very similar. We're also going to create our credentials. And then in here, we have a list of origins, and it's adding your URL or where you're running, the site where you're running, so you really don't need to modify this. And also checks the type, which we're also sending from the JavaScript here. If we see here, we have the type loyalty. And once we have the type, we check the type, and then in this case, instead of generating a loyalty class, we're now going to be generating a loyalty object. So the difference here is that we are creating a JOT. So we create a JOT and we add the object to the payload. And once we do that, here we generate the JOT and we are signing it and sending it back to the page in the button.
Yep. A JOT's basically base64 encoded JSON with a signature from some sort of HMAC SHA-1 hash or whatever encryption algorithm you want to use.
And these JOTs, what's important is that we are generating them on the fly for testing, but you can pre-generate these and save it on your button in the HTML directly. So that would save, of course, the time of processing when the page is loading. So, but for this demo, we do this so you can then very easily modify the servlet or the names or the any of the information that you have on the vertical, on the loyalty object, and then test it without having to change your index HTML every time. Once we have that, what else do we have in here? We also have the web service, but we're going to talk about the web service in detail after we finish this part of the demo. So now that we've gone through the process of inserting a class and also generating the JOT to save the object to your wallet using the Save to Wallet button, Pong is going to show us how we integrate your discoverable with the Google Wallet app using the Web Service API.
Yep. So what the Web Service API does is it enables instant sign-up or linking from within the Google Wallet app. For example, I could sign up for Walgreens, or I could link my Bella Rewards with a simple click. And right now, what I'm going to show you is signing up for Baconrista Rewards, our demo rewards merchant or loyalty merchant. So I have my programs here, and to add a new program, to sign up or link for a new program, I click the plus button. And I scroll down to my rewards program, which is ZZ Baconrista Rewards that we've enabled. I click into it, and I have sign up or linking. And both of these are powered by the web service API. So I can click join now, and these fields that you see on the screen right now are actually defined by the merchant inside the discoverable. So if you're a merchant and then you don't require all of these fields, or you require a few additional fields, you can choose the specific ones that you need. For example, if I needed a phone number, I would request a phone number from the user as well. And typically all of this data is stored within the user's account, so they never have to enter any information. They can just scroll down, accept the terms, and click, if I had less fatty fingers, click create account. And that's it. I've signed up for the program. I'm now a member. I can go into my object and take a look at my rewards details. And to tell you how it works, Maru will show you the handlers on the server side and configuration of the discoverable.
So this, how this magic works, it's very simple. The idea is that Google, whenever you click on the app, Google will load the discoverable that you have set in live mode. And once that's loaded on the phone and someone clicks on either join or link, I'm a member, or join the program, what's going to happen is that Google will send you the information, the JSON request, to your web service API. And how do we do that? We can define what that web service endpoint is by going into the merchant dashboard and going to the merchant callback configuration. And here you can see we have the host, we also have the port, and then the path is the web service. And this is what we have defined on our quick start. Of course, this could change based on your implementation. So for us, now we have our quick start running on this App Engine site under wopsmaruappspot.com. And when Google sends the JSON request to my web service endpoint, we send back a payload that includes the object information that we want to save on that for that user. So based on either whether it's a linking, when the user said that they were already a member, we will receive the member ID in the request from Google, or if it's a new member, then you'll get all the new member information. So then you can create a new Google Wallet object.
And the auth token here is actually a token to authenticate that this is coming from Google, that the messages sent to your server are being sent from Google. And it'll actually be a header element within the HTTP request.
And you can, of course, use that for authentication and security.
Yep. And if you want to just test, the discoverable, you can set the discoverable status to draft, which will enforce the whitelist of only the accounts that you've shared your merchant account with. So in this case, we've shared this merchant account with our test account, gwallet.demo@gmail.com.
Great. So once we have that, let's look at how we can then take your quick start that you've already had running locally to test your own discoverable. So we're going to assume that, of course, you've created your discoverable, and if you haven't, you can go to the documentation, find information on how to do that, and take your quick start and you can go to, an easy way would be to go to appspot.com and create your own App Engine site from here. So just create a new application, click on Create Application, and that's going to give you an application ID. Once you do that, go into the web XML. And
it's AppX.
Oh, not the web XML, I'm sorry. Go into the App Engine web XML. Thank you, Paul. And let me see where it is. I can't find it.
It's at the very top. Application.
That's because here. So in here, let's say that I'm using wopsmaru, then I'll just put the application name in there. Once I have that, then I can go into my Google Eclipse plugin here and click on Deploy to App Engine. When I do that, you can just click on Deploy, and that's gonna take all our code that we have locally and deploy it to App Engine. So now you'll be able to access the site, the same site that we were running locally on App Engine. Let's see.
Takes a few seconds.
Yeah. But it's very easy. It can't get any easier than this. So once it's running here, we should be able to go to Wobsmaru. And then I have here my quick start running, right? It's going to take a couple of seconds because it's still loading. Great. So now we have it running. So now I use the URL on my merchant callback configuration as I showed you before. And this is how Pong was testing using the application. So when he's doing a request from the phone, that's hitting my web service here at wobsmaru.appspot.com, and we're returning back the object for that user. So let's see how this works. Let's look for web service in the web XML, and web service is mapped to the web service handler servlet. If we look at that, at the servlet, we'll see that we are also creating a web credentials object with the credentials that we set for this project. We get the JSON request from Google, and then we generate a response. The response will either be an approved or a rejected response. In our testing, we have it approved, but you can also uncomment and send a rejected response. In here, we also, for an approved response, we have to send back the loyalty object. And we do that using the same loyalty vertical class that we showed before when we are creating the save to wallet object. Once we do that, we generate the JOT with the response, and we send it back to Google. Google gets the response and then shows the object on the Google Wallet app.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah, that's it. It's really easy. We hope that this has been informative and gets you up and started with the Google Wallet Objects API as quickly as possible. This is just one more video in a series of GDLs about the Wallet Objects API. If you have additional questions, or if you want to find out more, stay tuned to Google Developers Live or take a look at our documentation. We'll have deeper dives into all of the different aspects of Google Wallet Objects within our series. And that concludes this Google Developers Live. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
See you soon. Thank you.